Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of the week again. It's time for my official Week 3 college football best bets. Of course, we just had Week 2, but I like getting the videos out early. We've got to prep for this major Week 2. Guys, just crazy last week. I'm on fire. I was like 14-2 or something. It's getting ridiculous. They're thinking about banning me from Vegas. They've been contacting me, emailing me. I'm just destroying them, and they're getting pissed about it. But guys, here we go again. It's going to get real ugly for Vegas. The first one, Louisville +2 versus FSU. This is me hedging against the idea that Florida State's going to go 3-0. I don't see Florida State starting off the year 3-0. Louisville with Malik Cunningham at home on a Friday night. Louisville always plays on Friday, it feels like. Last week they played on Friday. This week, the only concern for Louisville seems like they have a lack of playmakers on the outside, but Malik Cunningham is going to carry them to a Friday night win. And guys, we're going to be starting off, waking up Saturday morning, already 1-0. That's just amazing. It's great. So Louisville. Next, we've got Ohio State -31.5 versus Toledo. I'm chasing this one. Ohio State 0-2 against the spread. Ryan Day knows he has to start beating the spread. He's pissed off. They're going to get Jackson Smith and Jigba back. He's coming back for Toledo. A lot of people think Ohio State's going to sit him, but he could have played against Arkansas State. I think they bring him back, and Ohio State, again, you're hedging against them starting 0-3 against the spread. That's not going to happen. Ohio State will cover this spread. Toledo is a good team for the MAC. I understand that. But 31.5, if the Buckeyes get a 50-burger, it's an auto lock to cover, and Ohio State is due for a 50-burger. Number 3, South Carolina +24.5 versus Georgia. I actually have South Carolina winning this game outright. No, I'm serious. If you watch my prediction video, I do have South Carolina. So obviously, I'm going to take them +24. You're going to give me all those points when they're going to win anyways? They're going to win. I don't need the 24. Give me South Carolina money line against Georgia, folks. It's too easy. Oklahoma at Nebraska, the under 64. I understand why the over-under is this high. Originally, it was 66. It's been bet down to 64, but I'll still take the under. Nebraska, they were just involved in a shootout. They don't have a good defense, but still, this is one of those games. It's 11 a.m. Central. These kids are going to be sleepwalking through the first quarter. Nebraska, I think their defense especially will play inspired football. They're going to galvanize. They're going to rise up after Scott Frost got fired. Oklahoma, they've got a good offense. I love Marvin Mims. Dylan Gabriel's a really good quarterback, but this isn't the Lincoln Riley offense we're used to. I think it's a lower scoring game. Oklahoma wins, but the under 64, that's a crazy number. I understand why it's 64. Nebraska does not have a good defense, but I'm banking on them galvanizing after Scott Frost got fired, and they're at home. It's going to be loud, lower scoring game. Number 5, Western Kentucky +6.5 at Indiana. I think Western Kentucky could win this game outright. Indiana is just simply not good. They're 2-0. To me, 6.5 is just, it's the obvious play. Western Kentucky, they crushed Hawaii. I think they beat an FCS school or something like that. They're decent, but I just saw this. It feels like this should be maybe a field goal favorite for Indiana. It seems like more times than not, Western Kentucky will be able to cover the 6.5. It's really got more to do with Indiana just not being good. They're just not good. So Western Kentucky +6.5. Number 6, Old Dominion at Virginia. I'll take the over 54. So Virginia completely flopped last week. They only scored 3 points. I think they're due for at least an offensive rebound at home. Brendan Armstrong's still a very good quarterback. They only had 3 points. They're going to come back. And Old Dominion's a team we've seen they can score against Virginia Tech. I see this being a somewhat competitive game. Both of these teams, maybe Virginia gets 34, Old Dominion into the 20s. The over 54 should comfortably hit in that one. Number 7, Cal at Notre Dame. It's a small number, but I am going under 41. I think Notre Dame wins this game, but it's going to be very, very low scoring. Tyler Buckner seems to be out for multiple weeks, they're saying. So Notre Dame's going to big ball control type game. California traveling West Coast to East Coast. It's a 2:30 start time in South Bend. The crowd's going to be dead after Notre Dame starts 0-2. And again, I do think Notre Dame wins this game. It is a small number. I mean, the thing is, if it's 24-17, it's a push. I understand that, but still, this reminds me of the Iowa State-Iowa game last week. They're small numbers, but you think about these teams, and it's like Notre Dame. If Notre Dame is going to win this game, it's going to be absurdly low scoring. California does not have a good offense. They struggled with UNLV. They're traveling West Coast to East Coast. It's going to be really low. I know 41 is a really low number for college, but I will take the under. Next, we've got Ole Miss at Georgia Tech. This one's a lot easier. The under 61.5. Ole Miss has major quarterback issues. Georgia Tech has an awful offense. I think Ole Miss grinds out a win here, like 24-17. But my God, why is the over-under 61.5? What has Ole Miss done to show that Jackson Dart, you know, they have an elite offense to where they're going to score 40-plus points? I don't see it, especially on the road, especially against a team that loves ball control like Georgia Tech. So I'll take the under 61.5. That is completely mislined. They should not have that. That should be 55, or maybe even lower than that for that Ole Miss Georgia Tech game. That's crazy. Penn State minus 2.5 at Auburn. I love Penn State to win this game outright, and I think it's not going to be a blowout. This line has actually trended down. I think Penn State opened 3.5. It was 3 this morning. I just looked, and before I did this video, it's at 2.5. So I updated it, and they are minus 2.5 right now, at least on Monday afternoon. So I understand completely. Auburn home team, 3:30 game. Place is going to be rocking. Absolutely. Sean Clifford's not the greatest quarterback, but I just think Penn State football is back. They know they have to win this game for the Big Ten, and they're going to get it done. They're going to win like 27-21. It's going to be lower scoring, but they will cover the 2.5. Number 10, Houston minus 10 versus Kansas. This is just a massive overreaction by Vegas. Shocking. This should be Houston minus 17. Kansas is still really bad, guys. Don't buy it. Houston, they had the game won against a good Texas Tech team on the road. They blew it. They're going to come back. They're going to win this game 49-17. It's going to be a complete blowout. This is free money. No clue how they're only minus 10. That's disrespectful. That really is disrespectful. We've got some more bets here. Marshall at Bowling Green. I love the over 52.5. Marshall, don't play with them. If they win this game, they're going to be ranked. Bowling Green can score, guys. And this could be a situation where Marshall is up like 35-7 at half, and Bowling Green is just throwing the entire second half. Marshall is playing prevent. Love the over as long as Bowling Green facilitates at least 14 points. I think Marshall can very easily get into the 40s. They win this game with the over hitting. Number 12, LSU +2 versus Mississippi State. So there's just so much parity in the SEC. I don't see Mississippi State starting 3-0. LSU is at home. Jane Daniels is decent enough. Keyshawn Booty is still on the team. And again, LSU, this is a situation. They're at home. This is Brian Kelly's first big win, although I wouldn't even, it's not a big win because Mississippi State isn't even ranked. But this is a game where if Mississippi State wins, they will be ranked for sure. I don't think it happens. The line was originally, I saw it this morning, it was 3. It immediately got bet down to 2. It's not surprising. LSU is a home underdog against a team that's beatable, and I've got LSU covering. I mean, if you're going to take them +2, they're probably going to win outright. South Florida at Florida, the Battle of Florida. The over 59. So, guys, interesting little factoid on Anthony Richardson. He has 0 passing touchdowns, and what that tells me, he's due for a big day through the air. I've got Anthony Richardson throwing 5 passing touchdowns against South Florida, running for another one. And then South Florida's a team that has a transfer QB from Baylor. I think they can facilitate at least 14 to 21 points. Florida's going to have an offensive explosion themselves, and the over 59 hits. It's a pretty big number, but I think the over still hits. These teams are going to combine to score around 70 points. No, of course, it's got to be on here. Nevada at Iowa, the under 40. So just anytime Iowa is involved in a game, you take the under. That is the current strategy. If I was Vegas, I probably would have set the over-under at 39 and see what happens. But I think they set it at 41. It's down to 40. Yeah, it's just Iowa cannot score. Nevada is not great. They're, replacing Carson Strong. Again, I think it's going to be very low scoring. That maybe 17-10, 17-13, something like that. Similar to the Notre Dame Cal game. Number 15, Miami plus 5.5 at A&M. So I really struggled with this one, and because it's like a primetime game, I wanted to make a pick on it. I think A&M wins, but like Miami, that's a lot of points for Miami because Miami has the better quarterback. So you're giving me 5.5 points and I have the better quarterback. I will take that. The reason I think A&M is going to win is due to them being at home. There's going to be a major sense of urgency after losing last week. Also, Miami, skill position players are severely lacking for Tyler Van Dyke. That's going to be an issue. I think A&M wins by 3, but overall, Miami 70% of the time covers in a game like this, plus 5.5. It's just too many points. I got to take it. I got Miami covering the 5.5. Next, we've got San Diego State at Utah. Late game. Love the under 50. San Diego State still horrible on offense. I think Utah is due to kind of come back down. It's going to be a lower scoring, grinded out kind of win for Utah. They're going to win handily. I believe they're 21-point favorites, but I don't see San Diego State scoring more than 10, 14 points maybe. So I've got the under 50. It's a smaller number, but I think it hits. Later game. These kids are going to be sleepwalking, guys. You got to understand it with the college stuff. And then my last one, Washington State minus 16.5 versus Colorado State. I mean, Colorado State is just horrific. If you guys didn't know, they're 0-2. They looked horrible last week. And Washington State, I understand people are going to be a little wary to bet on them coming home after a very emotional win on the road. Maybe people might take Colorado State. It's just Colorado State is so bad. I think Washington State and Cameron Ward, they use the momentum from beating Wisconsin. They come home and they just crush Colorado State at home instead of having, your typical college letdown game. I think they will play a lot better. Another game that's not on here, I would highly consider taking, depending on what happens with Hudson Card, if he plays or not, I would definitely consider taking UTSA plus 11 right now. It's not on here, but I just thought of that. UTSA plus 11 at Texas. It's going to be very tough for Texas with Hudson Card, who's injured. Ewers is already out until early October they're saying right now. So that's another game I'd consider. But guys, those are my top 10, or I guess it's more than 10. I love doing these, so I have to do a lot of them. But guys, that's going to do it for my top best bets of week number 3 college football. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.